Moin und herzlich willkommen hier wieder bei theHobbyist in der Kategorie Gaming mit dem Spiel Vampire the Masquerade Reckoning of New York. Genau, in der letzten Folge haben wir uns nicht ganz so gut angestellt. Haben scheinbar all die falschen Entscheidungen getroffen, die man so treffen kann. Jetzt geht's erstmal mit der Camarilla zusammen ins Elysium. Und was erwartet uns dort? Eine Main Quest, die da sagt: Now I'm being slammed with some bullshit. Accusations and hauled to Elysium for interrogation. What the fuck? There's no way I'm playing along. Well, maybe I am. Seeing as I'm about to go Fang to Fang with New York's Ivory Tower. Man muss dazu sagen, die Ravnors sind auch ein bisschen spezieller, was die Clans angeht. Die schließen sich nicht der Camarilla an, oder dem Sabbat, oder den Anarchen. Vielleicht eher noch den Anarchen, aber die Ravnors sind Einzelgänger. Ja, und die Ravnors lassen sich in keine Schublade stecken. Sie sind eigentlich eher Nomaden, die immer von A nach B, nach C, nach D ziehen, weil ihnen, wie gesagt, das Chaos folgt, was ihr Nachteil ist. Schauen wir also mal, was uns beim Elysium erwartet. Judgment at the Elysium, Night 1. So this is their joint, the art hole. Seriously? Could they have picked a more pretentious spot? The Ivory Tower splinter has wedged itself right in the middle of New York City's swankiest row. Welcome to the still heart of the Camarilla's intricate machinations. Here's where the local kindred clink their glasses, all the while plotting each other's demise. Unless, of course, you're a pariah like me, an outcast from the wrong clan, with a knack for stirring up trouble, in which case you're screwed from the get-go. Honestly, I preferred not knowing how posh it is. Places like this don't exactly roll out the red carpet for someone who deals with my kind of stuff. But since I've got no immediate escape plans, might as well play along. I'd happily shit on it on principle, but gotta admit, it seems pretty low-key on the outside, not counting the two chuckling goons who clearly missed the memo on blending with the crowd. And on that note, is there a giggle-worthy revelation you'd care to share with me, Birdie? Your demeanor hints a job well done, does it not? The awkward freeze frame those two are stuck in would be comedy gold if it wasn't knee-deep in my own, if I wasn't knee-deep in my own mess. Hound, einer ihrer Häscher. Oh yeah, Mr. Val, sir. I mean, not really anything too wild, you know? Just like the usual stuff we're seeing, I guess. Does this unusual stuff include dubious characters within a mile's reach of Elysium? Groups for which you were specifically instructed to watch out? 3 of them to be exact, if my count holds true. 3 groups of what? Honestly, I didn't spot a thing. Then again, maybe I'm not just clued in on what to look out for. Let her cook. I'm out of the loop, not cool. Wait, I've seen that before. I mean, I apologize. We really should have. Yes, you really should have. Boy, that shot through him like an icy bullet. I wasn't exactly cozy myself, but that poor sod probably just shed the last ounce of warmth left in him. Return to your duties at once. I'll be expecting a detailed report within the next hour. Yes, Mr. Val, Sir. Sagt man auch Sir? Sagt man eigentlich Ma'am? He waddles off like a scolded kid, and his pal refuses to meet our eyes. I throw Valerie a look of unwilling respect. She obviously holds some serious clout in these parts. Come now. Dragging your feet earns no favors, and believe me, you could use a few. Is that an offer, Mr. Val? Her smile serves as enough a silent veto to make it clear that prying any further is futile. Not exactly a good sign. She swings the door open, but there's no warm invitation in the gesture. The art hall. The place doesn't quite live up to the posh art gallery image in my mind. Sure, there's a hint of what could be a Basquiat on the walls, but most of the art is either shoved aside or covered up. My instincts shift into overdrive. First up, a quick room survey. Search for escape routes, scan for access points, take a good look around. Das dritte macht irgendwie beides, ne? I might try to focus on something else, but the real show stealer is the stupidly massive table littered with papers and a map of the 5 boroughs, spotted with enigmatic markers and chess pieces. 2 particular areas are heavy with pins, though their meaning is lost on me from this distance. Vintage trunks are strewn about without a second thought. But what really grabs the eye is a lineup of wickedly curved swords, sending a faint memory of a shiver up my spine. Taking it all in, this place screams less art gallery and more war room. Step 2 practically unfolds on its own. The room's a powder keg of kindred in the middle of an intense debate. The tension is palpable, suspicion dialed up to 11. That's when their voices finally break through the walls of my focus. Ah, unser Freund Kadir ist es wahrscheinlich. Der Sheriff der Stadt. Wouldn't have been such an issue if we'd taken actions when the signs were so glaringly obvious. That long-haired hunk must be Kadir al-Asmai, the Camarella's sheriff. I've had my fill of stories about him, but now I can put a face to the reputation. Oh, der Fucker. Ah, ich weiß gerade nicht mehr, wie der heißt. If only the rest of us were blessed with the profound gift of foresight, Sheriff. On life would be a walk in the park. Allow me to emphasize our risks aren't limited to a single front. Acting on a gut feeling might work wonders in motion pictures. Here in the real world, it's a different story. This one's a mystery to me. But the way he's navigating the conversation, he's clearly a heavyweight in these parts. Spare me the pretense of ignorance, Arturo. Arturo, genau. The pattern was unmistakably built over a month ago. Now, Arturo. Thomas Arturo? Shit. Rain had explicitly told me to steer clear of this guy's mess. The bickering rages on and Valerie doesn't seem eager to reveal her catch. AKA yours truly. Ah, das müsste die Tremere sein, glaube ich. Your playful decision to allow the Thin Bloods to appoint Larson as their primogen raises his final death to a level that can't be casually swept under the rug, Helene. Thin-blooded or not, it throws into question our grip on the situation. That gothed out Ally McBeal? Definitely Aisling Sturbridge, the Tremere Regent. Aisling Sturbridge, genau. Ach, die Namen, jetzt kommen sie alle wieder langsam. I'd be curious if Raynard's operation extends into the local chantry, but he was, as always, tight-lipped about private affairs. Ist das Helene Panhard? Dann hat sie sich aber ziemlich verändert, glaube ich, seit dem letzten Mal. Hatte die schwarze Haare letztes Mal? Ich weiß gar nicht mehr. What would you have me to do then? Ja, das wird sie sein, ja. Unleash your dear sheriff without adequate reconnaissance? Just in the name of hassle? Haste? Oh, hassle, sag ich schon. Haste? We can't overlook this excessive efficacy in the last skirmish, can we? Doesn't the prospect of a masquerade breach give you a pause? Behold the queen be herself. Behold the queen be herself. Helene Panhard, the reigning prince of Sticks Up the Ass. Er ist auch hier. Das ist interessant. Das ist der Torque heißt er, glaube ich. Der Anarchenführer eigentlich. I figure we are all fond of keeping things the way they are, but there's times to just sit back and think. And then there's times when you gotta step up and do something bold. This feels like it's time to make a move. An anarch championing chaos, a revolution that somehow fails to astonish. Oh, esteemed Baron of the Bronx. An anarch baron inside Elysium? Now that's a plot twist. What's the deal here? As I continue to look around, another figure catches my eye. A young-looking woman, entirely decked out in black, casually playing with a cigarette. Ha! Da haben wir unsere Hauptcharakterin aus Teil 2. Man muss dazu sagen, in Shadows of New York, also dem Teil 2, gab es 2 Enden, mehr oder weniger. Und das eine war, dass sie die Stadt mit ihrer Geliebten verlässt, und das andere ist, dass sie bleibt und ihre Geliebte ditcht. Und ich glaube, Canon ist, dass sie geditcht hat, tatsächlich. Und ich habe das andere Ende gespielt, aber naja. Ja, das ist sie, definitiv. She shoots me a brief glance, clearly picking up on my curiosity. Ach, der ist auch noch da. Krass. That ancient fart in the wheelchair whispering to his servant. Who's that? Right as he's about to chime in, some lanky guy I totally missed to now decides to butt in. Ach, das ist unser zweiter Charakter. Ich glaube, ich weiß, wer das sein soll. Ich glaube, das ist der Thin Blood Obermokel, oder? My apologies for interrupting, Mr. Payne, but it appears Mr. Val has brought forth the issue you mentioned earlier. It might be wise to ensure he's not exposed to unnecessary information. How did I overlook this guy? He's all limbs and quirks, playing with some odd ring on his finger. He sticks out in the upscale bunch like a score thumb. It's my mojo on vacation or what? Yes, thank you for that shrewd observation, Caitiff. Oh, ein Caitiff. Ein Clanloser. Interessant. She holds those words like she's spitting venom. Whatever the opposite of sympathy is, she's brimming with it. Wait, Caitiff? Esteemed counsel, I give you the troublesome ravenous neonate. I gather you all desire a swift resolution to this matter, especially given her reluctance to cooperate. As if on cue, every eye shifts on me. Every eye shifts on me. I'm not one to buckle under the stage fright, but this silent ostracism is on a whole new level. In this room, I'm on my own. I understand the formal necessity of addressing all, this as well as my role in the matter. However, there are more pressing concerns demanding attention, far more pressing. Shall we discard all traditions too while we're at it? I've pirouetted around the Hudson problem for more than a year, yet progress remains as stale as our debate. Certainly, a few additional moments to honor the very laws you spearhead so vigorously couldn't hurt, could they? The Hudson is a completely different beast, as you were well aware. We need to address the locust swarm engulfing New York before Camilla's entire framework crumbles beneath its weight. And how does that sit with you, Payne? Just last night, 2 Duskborn and a fledgling from our clan were reduced to ashes, and we are still in the dark about who's pulling the strings. Shouldn't that worry you much? Shouldn't that worry you more than policing the purity of the red market? The old guy's servant steps forward, all awkward and rigid. In principle, I agree, Sheriff. However, shall we continue to disregard even minor infractions? We broadcast a message of vulnerability. Vulnerability threatens our efforts within and beyond our borders. Efforts we plan to carry on without interruption. Once the locust swarm, as you've termed it, is eradicated. Locust swarm? Ich frage mich, was das sein kann. I can't believe I'm saying it, but I'm inclined to agree with Grams on this one. We can't simply let something like that slip through the cracks without taking proper measures. So you've assumed the role of his advocate now? Quite the bold ascent up the ladder of your own making, Julia. Julia war das, genau. What's next on the horizon? Another hostile? Enough! Enough already. An awkward silence falls over the room. But it seems more about customs than actual respect. Guess we're all just creatures of habit underneath. Undead or alive. The sheer theatrics of the situation give me a moment to sneak at a glance at. Oh, das ist schwer, das ist schwer. Ich glaube, den Sheriff. The sheriff's avoiding eye contact with me, which you typically read as a weakness. But it's far from that. In fact, his eyes cold and focused. His gaze meeting mine be the last thing I see before bidding farewell to our undead existence. But there's something deeper. He appears untamed. Like a wolf in an ambush, perfectly still, yet poised to tear into anyone foolish enough to trigger his fury. When the prince finally manages to speak, her voice lacks the confidence you'd anticipate from someone at the helm. We're all here. We're all here for the same reason you are, Ashlyn. Or am I mistaken, and you forget where your loyalties lie? Even now, as she turns to me, her presence is weighed down. Not that I care. My head's on the chopping block and she's the one calling the shots on whether it stays put or rolls off. Now let's put this issue to the rest here and now. Strive for brevity, Sheriff. Understood. The weight of his gaze is enough for me to lower my shoulders. Whatever comes, it's not gonna be pretty. Carly of Clan Ravenous, you stand accused of violating the New York Camarilla's praxis, infringing on the tradition of hospitality, and endangering the Masquerade, among other things. Well, shit. Wait, on what grounds? Drop the act. There's a wealth of evidence that your recreational vehicle of yours, most of it confirming the suspicions we have been harboring over the recent month. Petty theft from our subjects, impersonation of other kindred, lineage forgery. Need I go on? Okay, guilty. But when did they start caring? It's not like I'm the only one dipping my toes into the ocean of misdemeanors. At least they don't know about our artifact gig. But your involvement in large-scale blood and mortal trafficking outside our scrutiny and the jurisdiction of the courtesy system is as obvious that it is dangerous to the stability of our domain. Large-scale my ass. We hardly move anything through New York, definitely not enough to impact their operations. Plus we're super careful. Especially with your clientele often being in direct hostility to our interests, as Primogen Payne was kind enough to confirm. Seriously, this can't be right. We are always checking out our clients. Well, Reynard does, but... Is this some twisted way to set an example? Are they playing me undead IRS? What's their game, really? While some might chalk this up to colossal stupidity, I'm neither so forgiving nor tolerant of fraudsters who respect nothing but their own gain. I'm not blind to the fact that Reynard's completely MIA in this whole story. He's the big cheese, the head honcho of the entire affair. Though calling it an affair might be giving it too much credit. So why are we making it out like I'm the mastermind behind some global crime syndicate? This is not the time to be quiet, Raven. You know what? Fuck him. I'm not going down without a fight. Oh. Obviously you found something. How could you not when you're the one who planted it right there to begin with? Careful, Icarus. I've watched the Exonerated. I know the drill. Look, I get you need someone to pin this on, but you've got the wrong. Out of nowhere, something pierces my mind, shredding its defenses to dust. It's like my head's been turned inside out, exposing my every thought for their amusement. I whip my head towards the source of this eerie sensation, and boom, there's Kadir. The freaking sheriff with those piercing eyes slicing through my layers of bullshit like it's cake. I earnestly hope you're not taking me for a fool. That would be a misstep of monumental proportions, unlike anything these walls have witnessed. I get a glimpse of Ashlyn out of the corner of my eye, silently mouthing words that look suspiciously like "I beg to differ." Right then, a curved sword appears in Kadir's hand, as though he's just pulled it straight from thin air. Or maybe I'm just going nuts. Honestly, I'd be totally shitting my pants right now if that part of me wasn't offline. I'm not here for your games, little raven. Choose your next words carefully. I'd argue this utter lunacy clears her of charges. She couldn't even cobble together a feeble story, much less orchestrate clandestine trading of this magnitude. And yarn spinning is supposed to be your clan's forte, isn't it? Last chance, my dear. Is there anything of substance you wish to add? Holy shit, this can't really be happening, right? What's my move? What would Reynard do? Reynard, if you had the decency to pop up or at least toss me a fucking heads up, I wouldn't be knee-deep in this disaster. Is he really in trouble? Or what if he bailed on me? Got a hint the Camarilla was breathing down his neck and decided I'm the perfect scapegoat? Nah, that doesn't sound like him. But why target me and not Reynard? Sure, he's gone now, but could they really be that clueless about them? I'm totally lost, but I do know what he would probably do. His move would be look out for number one, spill the beans more than necessary. To buy some time. Time is gold, and with enough of it, maybe there's a chance to wiggle out of this mess. It's all or nothing now. Hit the jackpot or end up porcupined with stakes. Guess there's not much point in playing dumb, huh? Couldn't agree more. Game on. Alright then. So, I indeed am tangled up in this little blood trafficking operation, playing a pretty crucial part, if I do say so myself. Though I guess not everyone's on board with that assessment. I do the logistics, pushing merchandise through a series of dark web channels. Every eyebrow in the room goes up, except for the cigarette aficionado on the back, who lets out a slight smirk. I mean, a little controlled drama never hurts in a short con. All totally secure and anonymous. No slips about, you know, our thing. Everything masked by the hustle of more mundane black markets. No way we're blowing on the Masquerade. We deal in stored blood, as you might have caught on. Not just any blood, though. Our merch is a little jazzed up. Thaumaturgically enhanced, to be exact. It's the only way they'd work, as you're well aware. I am, but that's not for you to find out. Right, of course. Oh, and we also deal in, let's call them family treasures. But honestly, that's more like a side gig than anything serious. But we're extremely careful about picking our clients and really thorough when it comes to making deals. You know the traditions and all. I was sure we'd never even come close to breaking them. At least that's what he led me to believe. I had a hunch there were some dodgy dialings in his more secret ventures. To deny that would be a flat out lie, but let's be real, I'm outside the inner circle to have a real sway in those parts of his enterprise. For a brief moment, an uneasy silence sweeps over the room. His enterprise? Is this a joke? Exactly who is this he you're referring to? I give it my all to appear as blameless as possible. I presumed you knew it was my sire who's masterminding it all. The room's heavy silence is soon filled with hushed whispers following my revelation. Good. If fortune is on my side, I might just live to see another moonrise. Indeed. How virtuous. And your sire would be? There is only one notable rogue in the city who comes to mind. Someone dipping in and out, known for their shifty nature, of which I was somewhat aware. Reynard Castle. You nailed it, Chief. I mean, sir. Another brief moment of silence gets interrupted by the girl in black who addresses the sheriff. I can practically hear the cogs turning in your head, Kadir. What's your take on it? Truth be told, it does add up. Thought I had him pegged more as a con artist than a trafficker. Then why hasn't he been apprehended yet, Sheriff? Are you secretly endorsing activities that impede the circularity of the system's operations? For your own good, Payne. I'll pretend I didn't catch that. Or would you care to question my dedication to our cause again? Be warned, my patient wears extremely thin these nights. Can we put this bickering on hold, at least for the moment? An opportunity staring me in the face. How could I resist squeezing myself right into it? One more thing. Reinhard and I had a meeting lined up with a client a few hours back, but he never showed up. In the whole year and a half I've been in this gig, he's never just vanished like this. And what do you make of it? Now with the floodgates of truth wide open, it's time to dive into the art of lying my ass off. To be honest, I'm not sure. But now that I think of it, he's changed over the past months. Became a lot more erratic than usual. Ready for my theory? I'm pretty sure he caught wind of your lot and decided to feed me to the flames while he made a run for it. Whether they're swallowing my story or they're just tired of my presence, it feels like I'm nudging things the way I want them. Not everyone's convinced, though. An unwitting pawn betrayed by her master. A likely story. Suitable for the stage, indeed, but in this context... If I may... Damn it, Patrick. Don't go getting yourself into... Baron's warning arrives a bit too late. Instantly the others shift their focus, fixing their eyes on the caitiff with unmistakably hostility. It's clear they are not exactly fond of him. Since you've already disrupted the proceedings, you might as well say your piece, mediator. Very well then. I'm inclined to believe her, at least in the aspects most significant to the interest of our allies. Thanks, you mysterious weirdo. As ever, your assertion remains devoid of substance. My guy's advice is pretty much always on point. His track record speaks for itself. The sheriff has a point that seems to hold water. His sire might just be the one at fault. She is essentially a non-entity, is she not? And nobody that slips under the radar until, by a stroke of sheer bad luck, she got caught up red-handed. Do excuse the pun. When you give it another look, the evidence you have collected should indeed back up that claim quite convincingly. And what grounds do you indicate the evaluation precisely? My judgment is shaped by your vast experience and simply tempered by reasoning and intuition. It changes little regarding the consequences. She must face for her complicity in her sire's crimes. It's do or die. How about I serve you Reynard's head on the silver platter in exchange for mine, unscathed on my shoulders? Kadir's stare pins me under silent disapproval, but he lets me, as the curly-haired asshole put it, spin my yarn. I know all his secret spots in this town, plus the spots he wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. I'm wired into his network, his contacts. I've got his playbook down, and I can stay one step ahead of him with ease. Just give me a chance, and we all will be thanking our lucky stars by the end. They slip into a quiet introspection, or maybe they're just playing a round of mental chess, trying to read each other's minds without uttering a word. I have reservations about this darling proposition. Consider the potential fallout if this entire situation spirals out of control. Kadir throws up his hand, clearly over dealing with my case. Capturing this well proved hardly a challenge. I wouldn't sweat the idea of catching her again. What's more, entrusting her with Castle resolves two issues at once. It swiftly eliminates her presence and enables us to prioritize genuine concerns. But someone has to keep a constant watch over her. Valerie, perhaps one of yours? A batshit crazy idea burst into my mind. The kind of gamble that could either turn out brilliantly or spectacularly implode. Let the dice roll. How about him? I jabbed the finger towards the quiet caitiff. Padraig, was it? His expression shifts to one of utter confusion, and he catches the subtle smirks of the council members. Surely you're not considering... This could play out quite favorably, I must admit. Quite favorably indeed. Holy shit, it actually worked. Very well. Patriarch Conroy, I hereby appoint you as the agent caretaker for this reference neonate. I hate to break it to you, Sheriff, but this call is out of your turf. He's with us Anarchs, and you know it well enough. Technically, when he took on the whole peacemaker role for our cliques, he acquired a level of neutrality. So, yeah. Kadir redirects his gaze to the caitiff. Your responsibility is to ensure she fulfills the assignment within 4 nights starting now. Any slip-ups in her end will reflect on your record as well. Do we have an understanding? 4 nights. Not a whole lot, but better than nothing. Patriarch's resigned nod mirrors exactly how I feel. Now, back to where we were. Their sudden disinterest in me is a clear get out of here signal. Seems like I've managed to slide from one pit to another. But hey, I've bought myself a little time, and in my world that's precious currency. Unless, of course, that caitiff turns out to be a wild card. Okay, also... Scheinbar werden wir angeklagt, alles das getan zu haben, was wir getan haben. Und der Camarilla gefällt das nicht. Hätte man sich denken können. Tja, jetzt gilt es, den Sire zu finden und ihn vor die Hunde zu werfen. Beziehungsweise glaube ich eher, dass sie dann versucht, mit ihm zu schnacken, warum er weg ist und bla 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 bla. Wir werden es sehen beim nächsten Mal, denn die halbe Stundenmarke ist schon wieder erreicht. Und ja, für mich wird es auch langsam spät. Ich muss gleich ins Bett. Also alles Gute und bis zum nächsten Mal, wenn es wieder heißt Vampire the Masquerade Reckoning of New York. Bis dann. Ciao.